We are here and we're talking about the physical and psychological matrix today. Okay, so what is the matrix? Is that the movie thingy? No, it's a state of mind, it's a frame of mind. Okay, so the matrix is uh, because we're human beings, because we're impressionable beings, okay, because of advertising. You know how advertising, let's take advertising for example, okay? So in advertising, if you watch a commercial for 2 weeks, okay, you will be inducted into purchasing purchasing the product. Okay, all right. So and this is psychological. Okay, but it works through your subconscious. Okay, now humans are susceptible to all kinds of advertising. Humans are susceptible to all kinds of idealism. Humans are susceptible to all kinds of thinking because all a human being has to do is observe something. And once you place attention on it, it intensifies. So the question becomes, what are you paying attention to? Good morning. Good morning, guys. Hey, Sarah, good morning. Sarah and I had a wonderful session yesterday. It was very good. And so I'm going to bring up something that I discussed with Sarah yesterday for those of you who are just joining us or for those of you who might be here for the first time. Good morning, Jay. And so Sarah and I were discussing, right, the things that I talk about on the live. And Sarah was saying that, you know, well, now she sees this stuff and she tries to communicate it to other people and, they just don't get it. Okay. Why? Because they are bound to the psychological matrix. Okay. Now, if you want to call it brainwashing, okay, but it's not that simple. Okay, it's not that, like, okay, we will brainwash you to make you believe this, make you to believe that, make you believe that, whatever. It's whatever you place your focus on, okay, starts to become your perception, starts to become your understanding, and starts to become your reality. And everybody has a different reality, kind of, sort of, okay? But the psychological matrix is a generality. And this generality, okay, so if you're not spiritually awake, you're going to miss this. Because if you're not spiritually awake, you're going to go, well, this guy's crazy, right? And you'll scroll on, okay? But the generality is the psychological matrix. Core fundamental principles belong to the psychological matrix. Now, if an institution or an organization or a government or an entity teaches you things through guilt, shame, and fear, you are being held hostage. Here, you are being held hostage. The prison is here. All I do is open the cell to the prison and let people out. That's what I do for a living. That's what I've done for a living since 1989. I've unlocked prison doors and set people free. What does that mean? Well, that means that the blinders come off. So human blinders look like this. They look like this. Horse blinders look like this, so that the horse doesn't look over there, doesn't look over there, doesn't get distracted, and the horse can focus on the path. So horse blinders look like this. Human blinders look like this, okay? And every once in a while, the blinders come down, okay? Or you can say it another way. The veil lifts and you see the truth, okay? And the truth shall set you free. But then what happens? Well, then slowly it fades back into the matrix where you are blind, where you are led, where you are led to believe, where you are, right, conditioned to follow, where you are conditioned to believe. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to wake you up. I'm here to wake you up. Because you are a very powerful being. But you're distracted into the psychological matrix. There's a psychological matrix, there's a spiritual matrix. Okay. And then, yeah, there's the Hollywood Matrix. That's the movie. Red pill, blue pill. That's Hollywood. Okay. What is the real matrix? What is a psychological matrix? It can be understood as the inner operating system through which a human being perceives reality. Okay? And generates behavior based upon that reality. It's in movies. It's in TV commercials. It's in TV programming. It's in radio programming. It's constructed for you. But it's here, in here. It's in here. The kingdom is within. You have the power to see, but you have eyes that look away from the kingdom. You have eyes that distract you into other realities. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, user. Thank you. You have eyes that distract you into different belief systems. So you see something, you say, well, that makes sense. You see something else and you go, well, that makes sense too. And those ideas can be polar opposites, but they both make sense. And then you choose, right? You make choices. So in the movie, it's red pill, blue pill. What is the red pill? The red pill is the truth that sets you free. The blue pill is the conditioning that you continue on with because there's a little denial there. Why? Well, because then it exposes you to the harsh realities. And that's not what you really want to look at. You'd rather believe in the illusion. So all the Christian holidays are pagan holidays. Jesus wasn't born on the 25th of December. Easter isn't about what it's about. There's something else below it, beneath the surface. Okay, I'm not here to, hate on pagan holidays or Christian holidays or anything like that. I'm giving you examples of the psychological matrix. So on Halloween, right? I know a lot of Christians. How's this? I know a lot of Christians that dress their kids up for Halloween. And they know what Halloween really is. But they participate. Because, oh, well, it's for the kids. So what happens in the broad scope of things, in the large picture, the big picture? Well, in the big picture, because it's not about all the small little things. In the big picture, there's a psychological matrix that holds you hostage between you and your goals, between you and your natural manifestation of who you are, and the things that you would otherwise just draw to you. There's an old expression, draw nigh unto God, and God will draw nigh unto you. Nigh means close. God lives in here. You're not your body, you're not your name, you're that energy that lives in here, okay? And that energy is from God. That's spiritual. This, the body, is physical. You are anchored into the physical matrix through your physicality, not your spirituality. Your spirituality supersedes your physicality, but you don't see it because you have eyes that look away from the kingdom. Jesus Christ said the kingdom is within. But we have ideas of this, that, and the other thing, right? We have our own ideas. We have our own perceptions. There are 8 billion of us, and every single one is different. Oh, what a blessing. What a superpower. 8 billion different souls on the planet, having a physical experience. But you are bound to this psychological matrix until you get set free. How do you get set free? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. You can listen to ideas, and all of a sudden you begin to see the truth, and the blinders come off, and the veil gets lifted, and you see the truth, and you go, "Oh yeah, that is the truth." And slowly they go back like this. So you have moments of clarity in between all of the distractions. And that's all the psychological matrix really is. It's a distraction. However, in the subconscious, when they become beliefs, because a belief is a thought you keep thinking, if someone can keep making you think a thought, it becomes a belief. Then what? Then it manifests in the physical world. Core beliefs, emotional memory, identity wiring. It all becomes a part of the matrix that is built in here by others, beyond your control. Why beyond your control? Because you live in it, and it comes at you in different directions. So, when you talk to people, they go, "Oh, you remember the movie? You remember the movie where that happened? You remember this movie where that happened? You remember that?" You think, it was in the movie. And then you go, "Oh yeah, I saw that movie." You see, it's part of the matrix. And then it becomes a part of pop culture. And then it becomes fact and reality in the mind of a human being. Your brain just accumulates data. And that data starts to become a picture, starts to become reality in your mind. And then what? Well, then certain people orchestrate that picture. Okay, so it's orchestrated through mass media. It's orchestrated through the movies. It's orchestrated in books. Many things come to you in the form of stories. Nothing like a good story, right? But your conscious mind is the gatekeeper. Your conscious mind can say no. Your conscious mind can say, "All right, this one gets in. That one, no, go away." You see? And when you have turmoil, it's your subconscious replaying the bad actors, the bad movies, the bad ideas, the bad programming. And once it's believed, it starts repeating. Then you have the same experiences over and over and over and over. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, you guys. Good morning, family. So how do we get rid of this? How do we see through the hypnosis? How do we break free of the societal hypnosis? You don't even realize. You don't even realize what you're doing to numb yourself so that you don't see the reality. So that you don't accept the harsh reality. Why? Because it's spooky. Reality scares us. Why? Because we'd rather live in fairyland. Oh, there's the Cinderella story. Cinderella, okay? As a result, we have many Prince Charmings that go out into the world trying to be Prince Charming. Charming. Guess what? They all end up in divorce court. That's just one thing. That's just one thing. 50% of Prince Charmings end up in divorce court, and 50% of Prince Charmings probably live very confined lives because they put themselves in that position. They place themselves. How to act, everything is working for you when there's no progress showing it is. There will be progress, but you have to work at the progress just a little. Hi, John. John in Kenya. Hey, John. You have to work at the progress. You have to affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. If you keep, you have to write it. You have to think it. You have to become it. It will work for you. If you put my name into any browser, any AI, and put teaching method, it will show you. So, to break free of this matrix that holds you hostage, Bob Marley talked about it. Okay? Break free of mental slavery. It's mental slavery. Why is it mental slavery? Think about what you believe. Think about the system you serve. Yet you can be in the world and not of the world. You can be in the system and not of the system. Remember what Jesus said. The kingdom is within. Jesus told you that the kingdom is within so that you don't go without. Out here for the answers. Without. Where are the answers? The answers are within. Ask. Ask. Believe. Receive. Mark 11:24 for you Christians. I have tons of Christians on all of my platforms. All of them. How do you have tips for removing anxiety? Sure. Say thank you. Have you dealt? Yes, I've dealt with anxiety. Yes, I have. Very much so. Okay? I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. That's the formula for clearing. Christianity, the abandonment of honesty and moral integrity. Field marshal, you're correct about some of those people. They do that. Oh, you're very welcome. Don't get me started on the 501c3 nonprofit profits. Don't get me started on that. But yeah, I understand exactly what you mean. Okay? So in order to free your mind, in order to free yourself, you have to go within. Because when you're out here, your eyes look away from the kingdom and into things that pull you into other realities. That includes everything. Everything that has been placed before you. The only thing out here is nature and things from other peoples in here. The ones that have come before you. And they create rules. They create guidelines. They create governments. They create religions. They create systems. But I'm just saying, if a system, and this is how you know, there's a difference between believing and knowing. Jesus was teaching you how to know, not how to believe. If something teaches you through guilt, shame, or fear, it isn't the thing. It's a system. And the system is in place for a reason. So let me give you an idea. So we all go to Costco, we buy in bulk. Oh, then we start eating in bulk because, well, this is good. I get this cheap. Guess what happens? You start looking like bulk. Then what happens? Well, then I have to go to the HMO. Okay, so you can go to the HMO. They have a solution, right? Okay, take some of these. What's the latest? There's a latest diet pill or something going around now, right? Ozempic or whatever, all that stuff. So now you got Ozempic. Okay, solve that problem. Now, okay? But you go through this pattern. And it's okay if I eat too much, because then I'll go over there and get that solution over there. And then I'll go over here and do this, and then I go over here and do this, and then I'm back in Costco, and then, oh, guess what? All the weight came back. And you go in a circle. Are you a part of the mouse wheel or the merry-go-round? Okay, so every year on the 25th, it's Christmas. Okay, we give. Every year on New Year's, okay, we celebrate fireworks. February 14th, oh, okay, let's tell everybody how much we love them. In March, St. Patty's Day, okay, let's all wear green. How many times can you do this and go through this merry-go-round and participate on this mouse wheel until you discover that there's more to life? Until you discover that the kingdom is within. Until you discover that you don't need to be sucked into things, that you can create your own. And that's the difference between separating yourself, okay? Yourself, self here, this one, spiritual, okay? Your spirit from the physical. Because all of your problems are tied to the physical matrix. But the tie-in is the psychological matrix. Think about that. I'm not here to promote a book and sell you a program. I'm not here to do that. Okay? I just want you to think, because you need to wake up. Because this merry-go-round is a psychosis. Pretty soon you're in therapy. Then you get out of therapy, and then you're okay for a while, and then you go back into the matrix, and then, things are getting heavy again, right? It's your subconscious. You're getting pulled back into the paradigm, the structure. When does that start? From 0 to 7 years old. You're born into the system. So a part of the system is always there. Christians know who the God of this world is. It's the opposition. What's the opposition? The opposition to the spirit. What's that? The body, the physical. Physical matrix. And the psychological matrix binds you. So let's take a look at what the psychological matrix is. Core beliefs. Okay. Then it creates anxiety. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And then you need to be freed from anxiety. So what do? Well, we go get medicine for it. So, core beliefs, emotional memory. Why emotional memory? Because emotions go into your subconscious and provide the imprint. Then what? Then it becomes a belief. Now that you believe something, the subconscious goes, okay, I need evidence of this. I need evidence of this belief. And then it will back it up. And it will become a program. And then it's wash, rinse, repeat. Until you change the program. When you change the program, what happens? Life changes. Oh, it's good out here now, right? Wrong. It's good in here now. Everything out here reacts to everything in here. Everything out here reacts to everything. If you change things in here, out here changes automatically. There was a time when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, right? You know, I was very rebellious, especially early 20s. In my late 20s, I woke up. But in my early 20s, I was cemented into the matrix, the psychological matrix. And my mentor at that time told me, he said, if you want to change anything over here, you have to change it in here first. And I didn't know what he was talking about. He didn't present it to me like subconscious, but that's what it is. It's subconscious. Anything done in repetition goes into your subconscious as a belief, eventually. What is eventually? Well, in the first 2 weeks, you will feel a shift. In 66 days, it will start to become a habit. And you can look it up. How long does a belief take to become a habit? When it becomes a habit, your subconscious is like, okay, got this, I got it now. And it will repeat it for you. So this is why when you see successful people, right, and they keep becoming successful, they're not always successful, but you don't hear those things. You don't hear that side of it. There's times when I'm not successful. because the tide always goes out and comes in, goes out, comes in, goes out, comes in. So when the tide is out, you can say, well, success isn't happening. Why? Because the flow isn't here. When the tide comes in, happy days are here again, right? Okay. But this flow happens weekly, it happens monthly, it happens annually. But you have to find your rhythm. How do you find your rhythm? Okay. You are powerful in here. You can observe yourself. When you find your rhythm, it's a matter of observation. You have to pull yourself out of the box and look back into the box. Because you observe yourself in motion. We observe ourselves. You're working on getting off the merry-go-round. It's tough. Yes, it is. Identified how my subconscious, yes. Yeah, it is a difficult separation because we're so used to it. We are ground into the psychological matrix. Now, I use a visual with my clients, okay? And I give them this visual. It's not like this. The subconscious is not like this. Thank you. Thank you very much. But this is the visual, okay? And what you need to do is you need to break free of the bond, okay? But it doesn't look like that internally. There's no demon in here like this. There's no demon doing this. It's you. It's your subconscious. It's your previous paradigm. So let's take a look at the subconscious tree. The roots of the tree are your core beliefs. The trunk of the tree is your paradigm. Okay, your outlook, the way you see the world, your attitude based upon what you believe, and the roots. The fruits of the tree are your actions. And your actions determine your results. So if your paradigm, the way you see the world, is a certain way, when you act a certain way, you will get a certain type of result. Are you tired of your results? It's not in government's best interest to make you wealthy, because then you don't need them. It's not in religion's best interest to set you free. Why? Because then you don't need them. It's not in your country's best interest to set you free. Why? Well, then there's no tax being collected. You're not working for them. Systems. So you can be in the system but not of the system. You can live within the system and attract everything you want into that paradigm without belonging to the psychological matrix. But first you have to see it. Because when you see the truth will set you free. And then you go, oh, that's what that is. Oh, that's what that is. And you have that clarity that you get in meditation when you are still, so you can be still and know. It's not about believing. Whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God, either way, you're a believer. You're a human. You're going to believe things. You're going to have opinions. You're going to weigh things and go, okay, I choose an opinion on this. I look at this, I weigh them, right? Okay, now I form the opinion. All right, this is what I think of that. Because you're a human being. What would the solution be? How can someone leave the matrix? You need to see it first. You need to wake up first. When you see it, it's easy. Because you can write what you want in here. In other words, look at yourself like a computer. Okay? Computer. So your conscious mind is your operating software. Your subconscious mind is where the programs are stored. Okay? So this would be your hard drive. And what is the superconscious over here? These three states of awareness are in you. The superconscious is the network that we're all plugged into through awareness. Awareness, consciousness, God, Jesus Christ, Allah. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. You believe as you wish. I'm here to raise your awareness. I'm here to teach. I'm here to share. I'm here to give. So what does it mean to you? What does it mean to you? Of course I respect all religions. I respect everyone's belief and the right of everyone to believe as they wish. I'm not here to push any beliefs. And I believe as I wish too. What would be the solution? So you can leave the matrix by seeing the truth. That's all you need to do, is see the truth. And the truth will set you free. The truth itself will set you free. But you need to see it. If you are bound to the psychological matrix through doctrine, through dogma, through politics, through rules and regulations and corporate agendas, and you see, but you're above that. Okay, go ahead, Turtle, tell us. Your happiness is a choice. You don't have to seek happiness. You have to become happiness. Happiness is in here. You have freedom of choice. You can choose anything. Happiness is a choice. Anger is a choice. And it goes into your subconscious and becomes a belief. So the people that are always triggered, they're always angry, they're always, right? And then you see the happy-go-lucky people, they're always happy, they're always easygoing, they're always like, right? Nothing matters to them. And you go, wow, how come they're so lucky? Yeah, right, Sarah, you like it too? Yeah, like Sarah said, it's like living in the dark and then the lights turned on and you go, oh my God, right? But if you try and explain this to someone, if you try and go, hey, you know what? You're stuck in the psychological matrix. They look at you like, what's wrong with you? Because they've been conditioned. You need to step away from your conditioning. You need to separate yourself from your conditioning. You need to separate the spiritual from the physical. Hey, Rosie. The majority of my clients have always been women, will always be women. Why? Because they always seek confidence. What is confidence? Confidence is a relaxed state of being. What's the opposite? Turmoil. Emotions that are out of control. Because you feel this way about this, you feel this way about that, you feel this way about that, and then, and women can multitask. So now they jump between all three and, 4 sometimes, whatever, back and forth, back and forth. It's like watching a television station and they're switching cameras back and forth, back and forth. Pretty soon it's overwhelming, it's frustrating. Then what happens? A good cry, a good purging of emotion. What happens after the cry? Brand new. So, how do you achieve this? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization, and prayer. Prayer is asking. Affirmations is affirming, saying something is. Okay? So start with I am. I am that I am in the Bible. And I'm just using this for an example. Okay? Because this is my system. But in the Bible, God reveals himself to Moses. And he says, tell the people of Israel, I am sent you. And this is why I am is so powerful. I am. You are. You are the I am. Make a choice. I am so happy and grateful now that I am. That's a double I am. Okay? Double I am. I am so happy and grateful now that I am confident. Thank you. Express gratitude at the end. Thank you. What happens in here, in your I am? What happens? Well, you start waking up that I am. And that I am that you are starts going, oh, okay, got it. I am strong. I am kind. I am generous. So I have my clients write down 100 I ams, 100 positive I ams. Okay, keep going. Right? I am friendly. I am joyful. Keep going. I am truthful. I am whatever it is. Okay? Write it down. You will feel so empowered. Why? Because you are. Because you are the I am. Because I am is in you. And everything out here responds to I am. I am comes from the right hemisphere of the brain. That's where you get creativity, imagination, and intuition. So a lot of times we don't trust our intuitive thought because of the left brain thinking, because of the logic, because of the ego that lives in the left hemisphere of the brain. If we say, no, that's okay. And then we suffer the consequences, and then we go, oh, I knew I should have done that, right? Because you did know. Because you had that inner feeling, because you are I am. I'm not here to sell you a ticket to salvation. I'm not here to sell you anything. I work with clients, okay? But I can only take so many. This way, I can wake up a lot of people. Because the I am in you will go, oh, yeah, that's right. Why? Because you know. Sure, you believe things, but deep in here, you know. And the difference between knowing and believing is that when you believe, you are experiencing the psychological matrix. When you choose, I am that, I am this, I am religious, I am political, I am a corporate executive, I am the doctor, I am the electrician, I am the plumber. Now you have chosen a reality. When you choose the reality, you become the reality. Thought, word, and deed. When you become the reality, can you change it? Sure, absolutely. I've had multiple careers, all at the same time. Why? Because I wanted a challenge. Because I was told by my first mentor that I can have, do, or be anything. So I said, okay, I'm going to pursue everything I'm interested in. I'm going to build a company for everything I'm interested in. And I'm going to make it work. Or not. So far, it's working. So far, it's going. So far, it's fed me. So far, it's put food on my table, money in my pocket, blah, 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 blah. I'm not here to flex. I'm here to say, you can do this. But you have to have an understanding. You have to stand under these principles. The biggest of which is I am. Hi, Selena. Hi, Selena. Good morning. Because if you don't understand who you are, and if you don't understand where you've been, you don't know where you're going. So look at today and then go back as far as you can remember. You see this, how this looks? Now take this and put this here. If you're comfortable with how this was, this is exactly what you're going to get over here in the future. Because you have a subconscious. The definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over, expecting a different result. If you're happy with your results, no problem. Because this is what it's going to look like. This will look like this. And you'll spend this, your lifetime, going day to 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 day, the same way. I got tired of my 20s. My 20s were brutal. My 20s were painful. I fought in my 20s. Fought everything. But when you fight, you lose. Why? Because when you engage, you become what you engage with. Are you fighting? Now you're engaged with fighting. Now you are a part of the fight. Some people fight forever. Are you loving? Now you have joined with love. Your default energy is love. That's why you don't see any unhappy babies. That's why you don't see any angry babies, newborns, infants. They're all happy. And then life happens. Okay. Good morning to me. Good morning, good morning. Awareness is very important. You don't want to fight. You change the personality into darkness. Yeah, you're right. Galactic Mastery, you're absolutely right. Because when you fight, you're coming from negativity. So all the positive emotions are rooted in love. All the negative emotions are rooted in fear. When you're coming from the dark, when you're coming from fear, when you're coming from empty instead of abundance, lack instead of abundance, love is abundance. But when you're coming from the opposite, you're coming from a lack of love, from a lack of abundance. So it is lack. It is just lack. So many people do not realize that they're running on empty. But there has to be a balance. There can be no light without dark. So what do we do as human beings? Well, we go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And this is why Jesus said, right? Take the beam out of your eye before you try to take the beam out of your brother's eye. Don't be a hypocrite. Okay? I see so many, quote, religious, end quote, people preaching, professing to know the will of all creation. Whoa. Right? And they go at it all the time, all the time. But they don't see that we see the beam. Because the universal law of correspondence tells us whatever's in here is going to be displayed out here. And then you see the anger. And then you see the selfishness. And then you see the gluttony. And then you see. We're not here to be perfect. But if someone is teaching you with guilt, shame, fear, they don't know how to teach. And they're not teachers. The secret is you. You are the secret. You are the miracle. You are the I am. If you really want to see a miracle, go into your bathroom, turn on the light, and look in the mirror. That's your miracle. But maybe you don't see it like that. I have a client who, you know, because of life experience, because life happens, because we make decisions. And sometimes those decisions are not the best decisions. Here, I'm guilty, right here. I'm guilty. I make bad decisions sometimes. And it ends up in a bad result sometimes. And what do? I say, I'm sorry. My bad. I'm sorry. I say it in here. I make the bad decision. I make a bad choice, and then something happens, and I go, okay, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And I say it in here. But I'm saying it to me and my Creator. What does that do? That erases. Because we make mistakes. We're humans. We make mistakes. Isn't the subconscious mind a non-thinking mind? Yeah, it takes orders. It repeats instructions, so the conscious mind feeds it. It does think in a sense, Galactic. It does think in a sense, but it repeats programs. You tell it what to do, it's an order taker. It will follow your orders. It will take your orders. So if you tell your subconscious, let's say, for example, I am generous, I am generous, I am generous. As soon as it believes you in 2 weeks to 66 days, you start being generous. You start becoming generous. So you become what you believe. This is why believing in yourself is so important. God first, then you, okay? Your higher self or your infinite intelligence, whatever you want to call that, God, Jesus Christ, Allah, whatever you believe, however you believe, but that first, then you. Now, if you don't believe in any higher power, okay, then just believe in you. I know so many people that are religious, they're spiritual, and they have no belief in themselves. They don't believe in themselves. I know a lot of people that hate themselves. They don't like themselves. Why? Well, because they have the ability to observe themselves. And when they observe themselves, they see things they don't like. And sometimes they don't know why it happens. It just happens. And they see themselves as victims. Why? Well, because I can't control these situations. They just happen, right? Wrong. You have control, self-control. But it takes a little bit of work, a tiny bit of work. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Okay? And then what happens? Well, then you start to become what you design. Here, this is design. This is intelligent design. Because you're intelligent. These are affirmations. Okay? These are affirmations. It's not journaling. Self-discipline, self-awareness, self-love, exactly. And I don't use the word discipline too much, Galactic, because to some people it turns them off and it seems like a lot of work. Okay? And it's not a lot of work. It's a little work because everything requires a little effort. Now, effort comes in two forms: thinking and physical. Sometimes you do the physical effort. Sometimes you do the mental effort. So when you hear people and they say, well, you can manifest things through thought, thoughts become things, that's true. But there's also a process to thoughts become things. It won't just pop in your driveway. It won't just appear in your bedroom. It just won't pop up in your living room. Yeah, you get it, right? Yeah. Yeah. It's not magic. It's your subconscious. It's you. But if an entity, if an organization, if a government, if can make you think a certain way, it will limit you. And you are being limited on purpose in the physical matrix, through the psychological matrix, and the spiritual matrix. What is a spiritual matrix? Same thing, only spiritual. And how does this affect, us as a collective society? because it determines what opportunities feel like. It determines realistic versus fantasy. It decides what feels safe or dangerous. Okay? The matrix is a filter of reality. Whose reality? Your reality. But your reality can be projected onto you because you are so intelligent. And then what? Then you believe it. When you believe it, subconscious, okay? So you can get groups of people to believe a certain thing. When 1 million people watch a movie, guess what happens? It begins to manifest in the world. Why? Because instead of one person manifesting it in their world, you have 1 million people manifesting it in their 1 million worlds. And now it becomes part of society. It shapes what you believe is possible for you. It shapes what you believe is possible for your community. It shapes what you believe is possible for humanity. And human beings don't change very much. And this is why we think, okay, this is a thought, that history repeats itself. And we think we see it over and over. And we think prophecy is prophecy was happening in the 70s. And it was happening in the 80s. And it was happening again in the 90s. It's happening again now, okay? The more things change, the more they remain the same. How does the matrix drive manifestation? How does it make these things happen? Like, what's your major affirmations in the morning? It depends on what I want. So I write it like this, Galactic. I write, I am so happy. Here, here we go. I am so happy and grateful now that, and then I fill in the blank. Like Star Wars, Star Trek. Yeah. Right. UFOs, all of that. It goes into consciousness. It gets uploaded into consciousness. They show you something in the movies. It starts happening in the real world, and you go, wow, that's just like the movies. It's happening through you. You're the divine. You're the divine energy in here. So here, the matrix defines manifestation in expectation. What are you expecting to happen? Emotional frequency, okay? How are you feeling? How does it make you feel? Oh, this movie made me feel good. Oh, this movie made me dye my hair purple. Oh, this movie made me get a septum ring. This movie made me resign from my job and move to the forest and build a log cabin, and now I'm fishing every day. Okay? So some people's idea of freedom, some people's idea of their lives is very different, okay? Not everybody wants a new car. Not everybody wants a new house. Some people want to be left alone. They want to go up in the mountains and build a log cabin and plant vegetables and live next to the river and fish and be happy. And this is happiness to some people. Some people, happiness is a car for a while, okay? For a while. But our ideas change. Movies change. Desires change. This is why we have Costco's. This is why we have major retailers. This is why some people go on this merry-go-round and they get stuck on the merry-go-round, and then it's just consume. What happens to their identity? What happens to in here? What happens to your soul, your spirit? I don't know. I was too busy consuming. I was too busy going to the meetings. I was too busy climbing the ladder. I was too busy, and then I retired, and then I did a couple of cruises, and you know what? Now I'm in the old folks' home, and it's almost time to die. And this has been my life. This has been my life. And now the children see this, and the children are born awake. Because of technology, the children see. They see through things. They see through you. Children see through you. Because they haven't been conditioned yet. Little children, you cannot hide from a little child. You cannot hide from a 6-year-old. They see you, they know you, and they will remember you. And their world is very different, and the world is changing rapidly. But with this change comes positivity. With this change comes good things. With this change comes bad things. Just like the old world. There's good and bad. Always. Yin and yang. Always. So what are you going to choose? Becomes the question. Well, I'm going to choose the good side of it. Well, I'm going to choose the bad side of it. As you wish. Behavioral micro choices. Little choices. Tiny little choices. What is that? What you say yes to. What you agree to. On a daily basis. Not major agreements. The things that you avoid. These things you manifest. Through the matrix. Okay? How you speak. The language you use. When you move to a new town. You start using the lingo, right? You start using the language. You start using the same expressions. You start hanging with new friends group. What happens? You become like that group. And you just fit right in like a chameleon. Why is that? Because of your intelligence. Because you're a human being. That's why they say, show me 5 of your closest friends and I'll tell you who you are. I feel like we're at a peak moment in time. We're almost in this drain and we're going around. Yeah, we're in a very good time. But like I said, you can look at it either side. Everything has peaked. No, it hasn't peaked yet. It's going to peak soon. What does this mean? Music, movies, almost like everything has been through. Yeah, they keep recycling. They keep recycling. And the reason why they keep recycling is because they keep using what worked. And that has been my thing about movies. Like, why can't they make new blockbusters? Why can't they make new original movies? It's because what has been tested and what works. And it keeps you on that merry-go-round. And it keeps you on the mouse wheel. Behavioral micro choices, the little things that you choose. Okay? The little things that you choose to become or that you choose to be like. When a new movie comes out, right? They have some idioms, some sayings, some slang. You start using the slang. Are you using the same slang you did in the 80s? No, of course not. You got new ones now, right? Flexing. There you go. That's a new one. I use that all the time. Is that new? Yeah, that's new. Very new. Okay. What's another thing? What's another result, manifestation result of the matrix? Perceptual bias. Okay. So the matrix makes you feel like opportunities are rare. Okay? You won't notice them. I'm not enough. Okay? And you start seeing confirmations of these things. Why? Because your subconscious does this. This is how you were designed as a human being. So now you don't feel adequate. You see those religious people with the t-shirt, he is greater than I. So they feel small. They feel powerless. There is a greater power. There is a macrocosm. We are the microcosm, the smaller version of the larger version. There may not be a Santa Claus, but everything in the universe is energy. Okay, and I'll leave you with that today. Jay is saying, see you tomorrow at 7 a.m. So I hope we woke up a little bit today. There's no sales pitch. I have nothing to sell you. I'm not here to pitch my website or whatever. The website is here for you, lifecoaching.com if you need me. But I'm not here to push it. I'm not here to sell it. Everybody has a website. So we'll see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Hawaii time. Sure, sure. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for being here. Enjoy your friends. Enjoy your friends. Rosie, this is eye-opening. Thank you, Rosie. Thank you. Yeah, we'll be here again tomorrow, Rosie. Same time. Okay, join us. You're very welcome to be with us. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.